Where you on?
Yeah. I mean, she still love her daddy.
Yeah, wrong.
Got them stuff up. Look at him.
Let me stop.
But I really didn't think that Sydney was okay. You know what I mean? Just kind of like as you saw, let me see, she looks generally all right, but like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's so sad. I can't even imagine.
No, he definitely killed that woman, but I hate it. Yeah, I know people that their dad killed their mom, and those are the most screwed up people I've ever met, honestly. You can never get over that, because you lose both parents in one shot in that manner. There's no way you could get over that and be quote-unquote normal. So I have a friend that I believe her to be bipolar, and she just disappears every few months and suffers through very, very bad periods. Yeah, losing both parents in one day in that manner, and then you feel guilty because you feel like, what could you have done and stuff like that. So those kids are scarred permanently. I don't think, it doesn't seem that, they had a good relationship with Nicole's parents, right? I don't know. Did they ever, because it's not the kid's fault. So I'm wondering, did they ever see their grandparents on Nicole's side? Or were they, who raised them? Was it OJ's parents?
Nah, I think her family.
Dr. Adams.
No, it was her parents.
It was good.
Wait, it was Nicole's parents?
One more moment, doctor.
They
Business dealers concluded that the two parties
And they had gone on,
shake
they were
hands.
relatively close. They didn't want to be around OJ.
Would you
as much
think
as
I
they
am?
were, but
No,
they
I don't.
always
I think you are bad
and they
news.
would go on,
And I think you're an abysmal winner.
And sometimes
If
Nicole would
I
just go,
don't shake
with
your
them.
hand, you gonna
and
throw
OJ
away
would be,
$12,000?
doing stuff, be back
I don't
home
think
and all
so.
that other
Mr.
stuff.
Pooch, if she tries to leave here before this nigger-loving German shakes my hand, you cut her ass down. You really want me to shake your hand? I insist.
This guy was talking about how
If
his
you
dad
insist.
killed his mom. His mom was a bartender, blah, blah, blah. She didn't come home, and so he was looking for her. He ended up taking the kid with him. He ended up finding her at
I'm sorry.
his house.
I couldn't resist.
Knocked the dude out,
Goodbye.
and stabbed her like a motherfucker. And he was right there watching the whole thing. So he took his kid with him on the crash out. I was like, damn. And he's a grown ass man. He's telling the story. And you just see him revert back to like an 8. Right. He just reverted back to like an 8. And just started crying over this shit. Like how his dad just stabbed his mom and shit. And killed her and just ruined his fucking life. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
And took them along. That is so, this person is such a piece of shit.
So the one that we were speaking about this morning, that guy that killed the woman, then took the gun to himself. So those kids are gonna have issues too.
Yep.
The one that was happening on live.
Yeah, so they had that baby was not even born, right?
Yeah, the little girl wasn't even one, but her son was older, so I'm sure the
Yeah.
son seen some shit.
That's a shame. That is a doggone shame.
Yeah, I got
But
mixed
wait,
feelings about that shit.
also his previous wife, he had beat on her too. And here's the thing, this man, he's a terrible person too, because she stood by him and nursed him back to health when he had cancer to the point where he became cancer free. And then you gonna leave her and get with Lexi's ass? See, these dudes,
Yeah.
it's a
I got
certain type of dude.
But I got mixed feelings about that. And people say I'm wrong for feeling this way. But we're talking about the dude that called himself the Frenchman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Please, y'all don't get mad at me when I say this. But both of them was dumbasses. She was a dumbass for staying with him after he made clear threats that he was gonna kill her ass and shoot her.
Yes.
Because when some motherfucker say some shit like that, get the fuck out of Dodge. Why the fuck is you still hanging around? You think that man playing? That nigga ain't playing. And he's stupid for crashing out of him.
Yeah, we definitely said that this morning.
Yeah, we agree. And she's stupid. Yeah. She's stupid just for staying. He literally beat her to the point where she had to jump. She had to run out of the house naked and go to the police station in her car. She was butt naked.
Wait, who is this? I'm sorry. I get like
Lexi,
a 30 second.
The woman who got killed on live.
The girl that got killed on live. Let me send you the link in the back. Hold on.
You heard
Instagram Live or Facebook Live?
Facebook Live. I think this was Facebook. Hold on. Let me see.
Quinn just came in, and I'm just thinking about how yesterday when I ended with like a church amen, he was like, "Oh wow."
That's it right there, Sid.
But that's why they're so, like, I work with DV clients all the time, and I have to be very, very careful because, you know, that's why I ask people permission. Can I mail things to your home? Can I text you? Can I call you? Because some of my clients that are experiencing still in the DV situation now, and we're trying to help them, I can't mail things to their home, right? Because the husband, you know, the partner will open the mail or whatever, you know? It's like, but there are a lot of resources, especially in the more bigger cities. They provide them shelter that's anonymous. Like, you know, there are a ton of resources for people that are going through this stuff. So I don't know if, you know, maybe people don't want to start from scratch or whatever, but there is a way to remain anonymous and to enter into a DV shelter, and eventually you can get a voucher for apartment, those type of things, because we want to protect, you know, people experiencing DV. And maybe there's a wait list and stuff like that, but you could be in a shelter in the meantime. And then, you know, hopefully restart your life and you know, but yeah, man, that's really sad.
Yeah, she was just sort of used to it, you know, like she was laughing. Like even before he threatened to kill her, he said, you know, "I'm gonna beat your ass," and you know, she just was just laughing it off. Like she was like, "Yeah, you beat me before," and you know, it was just like they both were very, very toxic, terrible people. So we get it, Adrian. Like, you know, she was still a victim. She ain't deserved to die. But I mean, you can't antagonize people like that. And also, if you've already gotten your ass beat, if he says, you know what I mean, just let me finish this live, you know, or if you interrupt again, you know what I mean? Like, what makes you think that he's not going to try to beat you again? And she just didn't even care.
I waited to see this lady comes back.
Had settled with Cassie before the lawsuit was filed, before it was made public, would we be here? Right? That's a fair question. Well, Nancy Nicole D asks, if Cassie had been married to Combs or had lived with him in California, thereby making her able to sue for alimony instead of the short-lived New York Victims Law, which is, well, I believe, the law that she had used to file the lawsuit against him in November of 2023, got everything going, would Combs be here today? So if she was married to him in California and had, I guess, another legal avenue to sue him or, you know, collect money from him, although it doesn't change the fact that she probably could have still filed a lawsuit against him for these very same allegations. But you tell me where you stand on this.
Well, I mean, listen, whether or not she could have sued him for alimony, she sued him and she got $20 million. So we go back to the question that you posed, which is something that Brad has been pretty outspoken since the beginning of that he messed up in not resolving that case before it hit the media. And if he would have resolved that civil case like he had the opportunity to do so prior to her filing it. A lot of the things that Cassie said would have been secret. They could have come to an agreement. They could have had her sign a non-disclosure, agreement regarding the terms of that. But he didn't. And when that became public, that's when it started to snowball and everything started to click. And then the video of the 2016 attack came out, and that's when the federal prosecutors started to listen and pay attention to the case and really try and formulate how they were going to convict them. So I don't know whether or not if she would have been married to him would have made a difference, but for sure, if you would have resolved that case prior to, paying her the $20 million, prior to her it generating a case number, prior to it becoming public record, it would have definitely played an important role in whether or not he would have been in the situation he's in right now.
Brian, we got a super chat question that came in from Christina Lester. Christina Lester, thank you so much. If this results in a hung jury, and when we say hung jury, basically the jury couldn't come to a decision, right? They were at an impasse. If this results in a hung jury, how quickly could another trial take place?
The judge could put it on his docket and retry it within a period of months. I would think a lot of that will depend on his custody status. If he remains in custody after a hung jury and the judge decides to keep him in custody, I think the defense will move quickly to say, hey, we want to go right back on trial as soon as possible because we want to end this for him and try to...
We never thought about the hung jury situation. That can also happen.
All they got to do is get the transcripts. As soon as the transcripts are transcribed, you're ready to rock and roll. You've already got the blueprint for how to try this case. So I wouldn't expect it would take a long period of time unless there's any...
Question, Sid, for a hung jury, do they use the same jurors or they get new ones?
No.
No.
You know,
Okay. And would they offer him another plea deal?
no.
Yep.
They could, because there's why do this over again? What you want to save the taxpayers' money if you can.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying?
But he's so arrogant, he wouldn't take it.
After the hung jury, which I'm not so sure they'd have the ability to do anyway. So quickly, I would think it would be quick, particularly with an incarcerated defendant like this.
I mean, he wanted to go to trial quickly on this. It's kind of rare to have a federal case go to trial.
It'll be a year that he's been there.
Have arrest and indictment, but he was going full steam ahead. He didn't seem to me, once he couldn't make bail, he didn't want to spend one.
Now he got something to rap about. Watch him out.
And getting acquitted. This is from Purple Sammy X. I'll go to you, Mauricio. Hi from England. Hi, that's amazing, so far away. What do you think the verdict will be as of now? And if guilty, how long do you predict he'll get?
Listen, that's a good question because they can convict him on a multitude of things. They can come back and convict him on everything, and then he would be looking at possibly a sentence over 25 years, and including up to life. Or they could, convict him of some things and acquit him of others. We've spoken a lot about the difficulties involved in the RICO, in the RICO count. But jurors, anytime that your freedom is in the hands of 6 or 12 or 14 jurors, anybody that